guys are snuggling with your stuffy dogs.
Yeah.
You want to tell me about your stuffy dogs? Do they have a name?
Yes. And Marshall.
Oh, Marshall.
And we have a dog named Bowden, and this is Bowden, my doggy.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, he's big. Yeah, two of them. This is Bluey. But
Oh, I see one in the background. He's coming in for a cameo. Hi, puppers. Oh, there goes Zeke. Do you see him in the corner?
yeah.
He has a lot to say today. He's really barky. I don't know why. He said, told me he's protecting the house. Hey, Zeke, are you being a good boy? Are you being a good boy? What inspired me to become an author is exactly what we're talking about right now, my dogs. And then what inspired my writing is I volunteer with a local animal shelter, and I started to learn that they use airplanes to move dogs from shelters that don't have enough space to take care of them to shelters that do have enough space to take care of them and then get them ready to be adopted into families like yours. Interesting how all the different animals come into our lives. So my Zeke and my Dexter were both at the shelter that I volunteered with, and I spent extra time with them because they were struggling to get adopted, and I fell in love and I adopted both of them. Saw the video of the rescue flight.
Yeah, I saw all the dogs. I was like, whoa.
Isn't that crazy that there's so many of them?
Yeah.
So there's a rescue flight that comes into where I live in Pennsylvania 2 times a month. And so I go to the airport and I meet the airplane. So I've only ever flown on the flights a couple times because all of my actual flying is at an airline called United Airlines. So I fly with United Airlines, and then on my days off, I go to the airport twice a month and I meet the rescue flights. Only if they need extra help on the flight will I tag along, but I primarily do all my flying with the airlines. But then on my days off, I get to bring Zeke and Dexter. I bring them to the airport, and it's a very small airport, so I get a special parking spot so I can keep an eye on Zeke and Dexter, and then I leave them with some snacks in the car while I go unload the animals from the airplane. And guess what? When I come back, do you think the snacks are still there? No, they're not. Yeah, so they are like that airport mascots. Have you ever heard of the term a mascot? Just like a regular who's there all the time, kind of cheering everybody on, because they know what it's like to be a rescue dog, and they know that it could be a little scary, or even if the animals look excited, they might just be feeling a little uncertain because they don't really know where they are. So they like to go and cheer on the new arrivals.
You know all the dogs you rescue? Imagine if you had all of them as a pet.
Oh, I would be the happiest girl in the world. I would love to take care of a whole bunch of animals. I really love it. And I remember you said your favorite animal is goats, yes?
Yeah.
My friend who lives just a couple miles from me, are you ready?
Yeah. You know what?
She has 20 goats.
Oh,
And she just got 6 babies. And so sometimes if she's out running errands or she's spending time with her son at school or his swimming classes, she asks me to go over and feed and check on the baby goats because they're just learning how to socialize. So I get to hold the baby goats. Isn't that cool?
Do the goats hop on you?
They do. Yep. They hop on me. You know what their favorite snack is in the whole wide world?
No.
Animal crackers. Have you guys ever had animal crackers?
I've had them before.
Like the little box? Yeah.
Yeah.
We love them. So
the
the goats, that's their special treat. Their mom and my friend is really particular about how much they get, but sometimes when I'm there, I give them an extra 1 or 2. So I often fly to where Miss Christie lives in Los Angeles. So I get my work schedule, which tells me where I'm going to be flying once a month. And so I have put in a request in to get some flights to Los Angeles to connect with Miss Christie, because I thought maybe while I'm there and I stay the night there before I fly back to Pennsylvania, maybe I can go ahead and help her. So I haven't connected with her just yet, but she and I are definitely in talks about it. And I also wanted to tell you, I loved your interview with Miss Christie. I watched the whole thing. I thought it was awesome. Did you learn a lot from her about the book donations and how that whole thing worked with the wildfires out there? I really liked that whole collaboration with all the authors donating books because I feel like I got to know more authors and connect with different books that I didn't know anything about. So I was so happy to participate in the donations to restore the libraries of Los Angeles with Miss Christie. And I am also excited to learn about all these other books. And look at, I'm here connecting and talking to you all. So there's always such fun, positive things coming from when us people all volunteer our time or our books. And I understand you're donating books too. Yes, I think I heard you say that in Miss Christie's interview with you. Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. I absolutely do think books can help communities after disaster because it brings people together. It introduces people that maybe have not known each other and maybe new friendships form. I also think that it is just books are kind of like an airplane ticket to anywhere, right? You don't even have to leave your house. You don't have to leave your bedroom, and you can open up a book and be invited to read and learn about a whole new world. So that's what really drove me to write about the role that aviation and airplanes have in animal adoptions. It's not very popular. Not many people know about it. So I love showing how airplanes move animals to shelters that have space to help them get adopted to new homes. So that would be a great example. So maybe some of the folks in the Los Angeles community don't know about that. And then I donated my books, and then hopefully they'll learn about that and share it with one another. And then hopefully they'll adopt a dog.
Do you have any favorite books or authors who inspired you?
So my favorite authors are two gentlemen that are really cool. Have you ever read the book Can I Be Your Dog by Troy Cummings? I highly recommend that book. That was one of the ones that inspired me. And then the other author, the children's book author that I truly love, his name is, bless you. Uh-oh, two. Oh, did I ruin it? Did it go away? The other author that I really like is Jory John. Have you ever read The Cool Bean, The Bad Seed, The Good Egg? He has a whole series.
Not seen before.
The Bad Seed. I love The Bad Seed. It's so good.
Oh,
I love those. I think Jory John is very talented, and I love all his books.
yeah, and he's a bad seed. Yeah,
He's a bad seed, right? Isn't that how he says it with all the A's in the middle? A bad seed. So I think his books are funny, but they also have like some really good messages. Some other independent author books that I really like, of course, they're almost always animal themed just because I love animals and I care for them so much, is the author's name is Cindy Bell, and her book is called Fiorella, I Love You, Flaws and All. And then she has her second book, Fiorella's Oopsie Daisy Day, and it's about a rescue dog who is at a shelter and she's struggling to get adopted. And the illustrations are beautiful. The other one that's independent authors are Sophie and Alec. They're friends, wrote a book together, and they have the Charlie Wag series. And I really like Charlie Wags because Charlie travels to other cities and then shares about his experiences. So Charlie Wags goes to London, and there's Charlie Wags goes to New York City. So those books are very beautiful, and I love them, and I love that they're independent authors. Oh, look at those puppy kisses. I'm jealous. Can he give me a puppy kiss through the computer?
He does people. So whenever, like when my mom's walking the dog, guess what? Found that when he sees people, he licks them and kisses them.
Yes, he looks very affectionate, very sweet. So first, even if someone tells me their dog is friendly, I still don't touch the dog. The dog doesn't have words to use like you and I do. They're using their nose, their ears, and they're getting used to me. So I sort of just kind of hang back and I let the dog just sort of observe me and take me in. And then I let the dog approach me. So again, I do that even if someone tells me their dog is friendly. That's fine, but I might do something that might make the dog nervous and they feel like they need to protect themselves. And then secondly, I always look at the dog's body language. We call it tips and tail. So their tail will be a big indicator if they are nervous or scared or excited. So sometimes even when the tail is up and waving, yes, like this, you guys have seen this before, they're excited. So, but what can excited be? Have you ever been excited and nervous at the same time? So it's just like, hey, I'm feeling something right now. So it doesn't necessarily mean they're totally happy. They're just sort of excited because something new is happening. And then if their tail is totally curled and tucked in between their legs, I definitely am going to leave them alone because they're letting me know that they're feeling like they need to protect themselves. And if they get closer because they don't have words, they'll usually growl, or if they really get nervous, they will bite. So I also, so then going to the nose, I always look at their mouth and how are they smiling? Are they showing me their teeth like they're feeling a little frustrated and want to let me know to give them space? So that would be probably some of the things that I have learned at the shelter the most. So we call it tips to tail. And you look at the two tips of the dog, the tail end and the front end of the face, to get information to see if they're ready for touching or playing. But my dogs, Zeke and Dexter, do not like a house full of people, which is why they're perfect for our home because we live in a very quiet place and we have a quiet household. So on Christmas Day, when we get together with family, sometimes they'll go with us to the house, but we actually put them in a bedroom to be by themselves because they just can't handle all of the fun that Christmas is, the wrapping paper and jumping up and down because we got a toy. So they just need like quiet space. And that is really what we talk about a lot in Halfway Home. Does he follow you everywhere or just when he wants to get more pets?
Yeah, when he wants to get more pets.
Mm-hmm. Where does he like to be pet the most? Is there a certain part of the body that he really kind of snuggles into?
On his back.
On his back, yes. I like to be scratched on my back too. I think it feels pretty good. Does mom rub your back sometimes?
And yeah, he does that to me.
Yeah, that feels good, doesn't it? Or like, yeah, you're just touching your hair. Like, do you? I love to get my hair brushed. I think it feels so good.
I
When I was little, I think I didn't like it, but as I get older, I like it.
When Bowden when I like he likes it when I pet his head too.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's very nice. Yeah. So that was so you learn the ways that they like to be touched, and then other times where they're like, no, thank you. Yeah. So I always feel bad for dogs that sometimes get labeled as a bad dog. They just don't have words to say no thank you or I need space or can you please stop doing that. They only have sound and movement to do that. So um I learned a lot by volunteering at the animal shelter and by adopting Zeke and Dexter. Now I made it kind of comical in Daring Dexter, but Dexter was so scared when we first fostered him. Do you guys know what fostering an animal is or fostering a person?
Yeah, I know what fostering a person is.
Okay, so fostering an animal is the same way. You're taking in someone who doesn't have a stable home and you're hoping to get them settled into a home. Now, there's a funny phrase in the animal rescue world, in the animal shelter world. It's when a foster parent falls in love so much with the dog, they foster fail because the idea of fostering is that you give them a temporary home until they find a permanent home, but you fail if you decide to keep them because you never got them into another home. But it's just sort of a funny phrase to say that you failed at something, but it was actually pretty good.
Do you know?
But Dexter was so scared. He wouldn't look at anyone and he would shake and he would stand in the corner. And he would hide from all of us. So in Daring Dexter, I show that he does U-turns a lot in different situations. And I kind of have it comical that he's a street dog and he's an artist. And he hides in his art when the animal air rescue crews land and they're looking to take animals off the street to safety. He hides from all of them in his art that he makes. Now, that is because in real life, he was so fearful when we first got him. We were really reading all that dog body language we just talked about, tips to tail, to make sure that we gave him the space that he needed. And now he loves on us so much. He's more affectionate than Zeke. He just wants to love and be snuggled all the time. But it took him a long time to warm up.
But if Papa flies on a broom and she likes saving animals.
I know. I love her role. I think it's absolutely awesome. So, it's funny because like at Halloween time when I'm getting ready to have my pilot uniform on and I'm getting ready to go out on a flight, I always tease my family and say, "Okay, I'm going to go fly my witch's broom." So we always joke around about things like that. But yes, I love how they incorporated that. I thought it was very creative and different, but it's definitely an example of um a magical way of showing kind of how to save animals through flight in aviation, which is in flying, which I think is super cool. I can tell you a few things to get you started on some thinking. So I used to go to air shows with my family, and I loved watching all the airplanes. And so when I was 14 years old, my parents started to notice that I didn't just like going to the air shows. I was really getting excited about learning about airplanes. So I started taking flying lessons when I was 14 years old. So I did not have a lot of money, nor did my parents, but they were very supportive in helping me come up with a plan. So I used to babysit and save my babysitting money, and I would take a flying lesson once a month. And then I soloed an airplane. I flew it, but which is flying it all by myself without my flight instructor, my teacher, at 16 years old. And then I went to college for it. And then I flew for several other small airlines before I got on at United Airlines, where I fly the big airplanes.
Ow.
Your bow almost looks like a pair of wings. And yes, I love it. I like seeing the different places, and it's connected me to the animal world. And aviation's connecting me to the animal world in a special way. So I couldn't love it more.
What do you hope readers learn from your book?
I hope that my audience and my readers, like those that are attracted to reading my books, are the next generation of pet advocates, like those that will grow up and be inspired to help and protect animals. I also hope I attract those that are interested in aviation. So I just launched my second edition books, and the second edition is because I've made changes to them. So one of the elements that I wanted to include is actually me in my pilot uniform. And so the reason why I wanted to do that is because I realized when I would go to book signing events, and I would wear my pilot uniform, I was getting a lot of positive response from the children that I met. So I thought I would love to be able to continue to inspire those that I can't meet in person. So here's an example. So here's the back page of my last book. And so here's some of the changes that I made is I have myself in my pilot uniform, and there's Zeke. And so people can see me in my pilot role, as well as my animal rescue and author role. What do you all think of the change? Do you like the picture of me and Zeke together in my uniform?
Yeah.
Hope is that I really connect with readers that are interested in aviation, or maybe have never seen a woman pilot. So they know that even when they're struggling to pay for flight lessons or something like I did, or they have their whole family trying to help them, that the pictures of me shows them that it is possible.
Yeah.
What do you all think about that? Do you have any ideas about what you might want to do when you get older?
Not yet.
No, it sounds like you both have a love for animals, though. You love the goats. You sure do love your
Yeah.
dogs.
I like ghosts because my grandma got me a goat for Christmas. I wanted a real Daisy the yoga goat. She's not
Yes.
she's not real, but she's a toy. I wanted her, and it costs a lot. I don't know how she got it, but it costs a lot.
Well, that was a very generous gift, and it sure looks like you appreciate it, though. I think that's fabulous. And my mom and dad told me things like that all the time, but you know what? Whenever they said that to me,
Yeah.
I thought, okay, well, how can I do that? Like, really, how can I do that? So that's when I would save my babysitting money. I used to work at McDonald's. I used to work in an office, and I used to stuff envelopes and clean the floors. I thought, geez, well, how can I save it? And then when I was your age, have you guys ever run a lemonade stand?
Oh yeah, I know.
Sounds like you have a lot of great ideas.
Yeah.
And then that way you'll have your own money to say, Mom, I'm getting another goat.
Yeah.
Right, Mom? Well, you guys can definitely support me on my website, erinmurphybooks.com. On there, I have some video links under the media tab that show some interviews of me if you're interested in watching them, and some more animal air rescue flights. So you can also follow me on Instagram at Erin Murphy Books. And I'm always posting about aviation, animals, and I love sharing other authors' books in addition to mine. But my new second edition, they're free on Kindle Unlimited too.